winner bracket semis. First map going to be Dominator, picked by MadiNho. Very good Terran map. Then Polestar for cRoSs, Metropolis, MadiNho, Radian for cRoSs, and then Eclipse is a decider match. Deja Vu was banned by MadiNho, and Death Valley banned by cRoSs. Not too many surprises here in the map picks. What do you think?
Yeah, it's actually kind of nice for MadiNho to get cRoSs to do the Death Valley ban, right? Because that means he gets to play him on Eclipse, and Zergs typically, at least in my experience, Zergs do not like playing TVZ on Eclipse.
Yeah, you can go Hydra Defiler, but you kind of feel like you're forced to. So if you're not comfortable playing Hydra Defiler, it doesn't feel good. Definitely Mech also very strong on Eclipse, so that does play into MadiNho's wheelhouse as well. He's a very capable Mech player.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I think both players might be ready, so let's jump right into game number 1 on Dominator. It's MadiNho versus cRoSs. Let's get it started. Spawning here in the top left as the red Zerg gets cRoSs from Canada.
And here in the bottom we have MadiNho spawning as the blue Terran.
Going by the title. Go on.
Bit of a cheers to the camera there from MadiNho.
A little bit of a Viking war cry. I mean, I'm hoping he can go all the way. He said something in the chat like, you know, he wasn't expecting to, he was expecting to retire, but he might be winning this BSL. A little bit of an image there of him kissing his beloved. Oh, hold the phone, because cRoSs is not messing around. We are opening with a 4 pool. I mean, wow, that's kind of insane.
It's, yeah, more than kind of insane, right? Just does not want to play the long game here with MadiNho. And it's funny because I kind of go back to what I said before about cRoSs is not afraid to do crazy things. Well, it doesn't really get a lot crazier than a 4 pool.
No. I mean, crazy cRoSs. I doubt it's because of the map statistics. This is only a Terran favored map by like 2-3%. Not a big deal. So a little bit surprised to see him set the tone with a 4 pool right off the bat. He is going for a wall in, but I mean, modern Terrans understand that the only thing you need to worry about is pulling every single SCV and stopping the run by into the main, and you can easily deal with any 4 pool in this day and age. It's not the hardest thing to defend in the world. We used to think that going for a wall in was like a guaranteed loss against a 4 pool. Gone are those days. As long as you pull every single SCV off the line to the wall, you should be fine against this.
Yeah, it's going to come down to potentially micro as well. If cRoSs can get really good micro, like pulling and separating SCVs and kind of picking them off, the worst thing you can do is try to engage the SCVs head on, because the SCVs will absolutely murder the lanes in a straight up fight. So
absolutely,
we're going to see a little bit of kind of vying for position where cRoSs is going to try and pull SCVs around, get some separated, try to pick them off, and as he slowly builds up his lane count.
Yeah, the biggest benefit against Ling versus SCV is the surface area is easier to achieve for the Zerg, because the SCVs are big and clunky. The Zergs, Lings are small and nimble. They can get easy surrounds on those SCVs and bully them down one at a time. You need a massive wall of SCVs to be safe against this. There's that massive SCV train besides one left to mine. Can he get the drill? Does pretty much block in so far. Does deny the run by for the time being. This is pretty good. Gets the surround on the Marine with the SCVs to prevent any good connections. This is a really nice hold from MadiNho in game number 1. Wow. Even Sark can't hold Ling run bys and timings like this. So MadiNho is better than a pro gamer Terran right now.
Yeah, that was beautiful. He got such a good surround on the Lings as he let them kind of come in. The Marine comes out as well. I mean, this is an amazing hold for MadiNho. He could not be in a better position after this.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of insane. And the fact that he held it so well means he can like keep loads of SCVs in the wall while mining with plenty back at home. There is not much counterplay for cRoSs. You can kind of transition out of a 5 pool pretty comfortably, but with a 4 pool, you have to do critical damage to transition.
Yeah, this is not. He killed, what, 2 SCVs, maybe 3? I think it was only 2, though, so this is nowhere near enough.
Yeah,
I mean, this is the 3-drone economy build that we did, so...
Yeah, kind of insane. I mean, cRoSs is going to be feeling the burn. He will try and make a playable game out of it, and he technically will have a playable game, but we're talking way less percentage chance of winning than usual. Catching that scouting SCV is nice. He has no idea of what the transition will be from the Zerg, but he is going to try and just save up his piggy bank money to throw down this hatchery off such a weak economy.
Yeah, it kind of sucks for MadiNho. He wants to get that scout off because if he can just confirm exactly what cRoSs is doing, they could send all these SCVs back a lot sooner and just kind of play like a standard game with a massive lead, right? That would be what he would want to do. But we see that, right? He's trying so hard to shark these SCVs around to get inside because as long as he can confirm what cRoSs is doing, as long as he sees that it's nothing like super crazy, then he can just react accordingly. And yeah, I mean, we see it already. He's up 7-8 supply right now.
Yeah.
Gonna get in here, see the hatchery, gonna see this drone count, and see the no gas, and we're very, very comfortable.
I mean, the only thing you can really do as cRoSs here is try and go for 3 hatchery before gas and just try and drone up and hold with Sunkens. But the problem is how late this hatchery is. There's no way of getting a Sunken to defend against a Marine move out like this. So at the bare minimum, cRoSs going to have to produce Zerglings to defend against something like this. And it's kind of like a win-win for MadiNho because there will not be any Ling speed for quite some time. So he could potentially just bully cRoSs into making more Lings or just straight up get a cancel on this hatchery in the natural.
Yeah, get a MadiNho to come in from the bottom of that ramp, by the way. Just wanted to avoid uphill shots as much as possible. So getting on top of this high ground like this, and like you said, even if cRoSs is able to muster enough Lings to hold this off or maybe gets a good drone drill, the last thing he wants to be doing is making more units right now when his economy is already in the gutter.
Exactly that. It's like a win-win for MadiNho here. And cRoSs knows it. He's in a lot of trouble, trying to squeeze out a few pairs of Lings in that natural lava to try and compensate. He's going to go for a drone drill now and try and surround these Marines. Mistimes things a little bit, though. Got to cancel on those Zerglings. Does do a good surround with these drones, though. Hold the phone for a second. Potentially some good connections onto these Marines. Not enough Lings, though, to soak up damage for those drones to go to town, though. MadiNho, with just slightly superior positioning, does avoid disaster by staying out the main drilling path of those drones. It was a nice attempt from cRoSs, going for round 2 now, trying to help the 2 Lings out, like getting some good connections on those units. Not going to be enough. He's going to be tapping out here in just a second. GG is called a MadiNho. The very convincing game number 1 victory completely annihilates that 4-pull attempt.
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing any more 4-pulls after that one. That could not have gone much worse for cRoSs and much better from MadiNho. So going to take a nice, easy win here on Dominator, taking the 1-0 lead to start the series off.
Yeah, I just don't think the 4-pull is a wise decision. I think it's much better to like fake a 9-pull speed and like cancel the speed and go straight into lair and do like a 1 hatchery lurker bust in the natural or something. I think something like that technical play is far more likely to work than just a straight up 4-pull against the modern understanding of Terrans who are much more comfortable at dealing with those early Zergling timings.
Yeah, I mean, MadiNho made it look like 4-pull is the worst play you could ever go for.
It pretty much is right now.
Yeah, I mean, best case right now, we're hoping to catch a 15 CC maybe, but most Terrans don't do that blind either, so I mean, obviously, it's just MadiNho's response was really well. Like you said, if cRoSs gets the Lings in, then it can be a bit different. He can start creating that chaos and start getting some picks. But MadiNho did such a good job of using that full wall to buy time to get his SCVs there and choke it off before it could get inside.
Yeah, absolutely. Next map, gonna be Polestar. Both players are ready. Let's get it started, guys. Game number 2. Spawning here in the bottom left with some tipple in his blood is MadiNho from Norway, that crazy Viking, drunken boxer style.
Spawning here in the top left, starting us off with a 4-pull in game 1, we have cRoSs.
Yeah, definitely not going to be going for that here, especially on the big map that is Polestar. Not a bold, definitely would be a bold move and not a wise one at that if he did go for it again. Happy to see him making drones in the early game. Maybe not feeling super confident against MadiNho, which is surprising because, I mean, cRoSs's really good at utilizing things like queens, and that's exactly what you want to be able to be good with against MadiNho in case he does pull out that mech player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't imagine that cRoSs's not confident, right? I'm sure he's confident. He just seems like a very confident player. It's kind of unfortunate because it feels like he wanted to go for a 4-pull to kind of like make MadiNho worry, but when MadiNho holds that easily, he's feeling less worried than ever now.
Yeah, it's almost like it was a bit of a blunder for him to go for a play like that. But it can go either way. I mean, if you do squeeze through with the Zerglings and they don't quite body block well enough with the SCVs, anything can happen still. It just didn't quite occur for him in that particular situation. Let's see what he's got planned for MadiNho in game number 2. Looks like MadiNho going to be walling in at the ramp. This could be a 2-port Wraith or a very quick 1-1-1 build. The range of play is rather large with a wall in like this. You can also just fake a kind of cheese and actually be making a CC in your main and just float it down. That's possible too.
Yeah, I think maps with full walls like this is kind of underutilized because it's like you said, like it could be anything, and pretty much any matchup, right? Like PvP as well. There's a full wall, and it's just you can't tell what your opponent's doing, and it's very hard to respond appropriately because there's very specific responses to the information you get, and when you don't, and you're not allowed to get information, it's very hard to know how to respond.
Right. Yeah, when you first see this as a Zerg player, like a drone scout or something, your initial suspicion is like, is this a 2-port Wraith? Is this a 1-1-1 build? Like, what is this? But it could just be a straight up 1-Rax FE just with the command center built in the main. There's no real way of knowing without committing an Overlord deep in there. Or the drone scout actually might get in ahead of schedule. It just barely won't be in time. He puts down the depot now. Doesn't quite get the body block off. Actually does manage to body block really well by MadiNho. Does get the supply depot down. That's insane. What are we watching right now? This is like Hwasin days back in the day with exceptionally high level SCV control prevented the drone scout from confirming the gas.
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't a whole lot of urgency from cRoSs to get inside and at least confirm the gas. I guess the thing is he didn't want to lose the drone. Like maybe that was more important to him.
I mean, that is, if it is just a normal 1-Rax FE play, losing the drone doesn't feel good either way. There's not really a good solution for Zergs dealing with a build like this, I'll be honest with you. But actually, I think the drone, can the drone squeeze through on the bottom gap with the barracks? I'm not actually familiar with this wall in. I think there may be enough room there for the drone, maybe not.
There actually might be I wanted to say no initially, but looking at that, it might be. I think
it looks like it, right?
There, right? I don't think I'm barracks to get them over there.
Yeah, I'm just not familiar with that wall in enough to say for sure. Yeah, I can't really call that one. Is this going to be a safety sunken here from cRoSs? And look how early he makes this sunken as well. He's super suspicious of, say, like a proxy factory or something out on the map. So he's made this super early. Usually you're throwing down this creep at like 3 minutes 30 to be safe against a normal vulture timing. So he's really expecting some craziness from MadiNho.
Yeah, this is another problem with these kind of like hidden plays like this where you can't get the information or identify what your opponent's doing. When you get into these situations where you're trying to prepare for everything, you end up being not really that good against anything. So you got to be a little bit careful about over preparing. We are going to get that 2-port Wraith too, so this is always a fun build. I almost never see it work, but I love watching it play.
It's so good because as a Zerg player, you don't want to make a Hydra Den and be safe against it. Like the correct play is to make a Hydra Den and like 2 or 3 initial Hydras just to kind of avoid too much early game damage. Sometimes even more Hydras if you're like suspicious of like a Vulture drop into the main or something. But yeah, if you don't make the Hydra Den and you're trying to just be a little bit greedy and just go straight up to 6 mutas early, something like a 2-port Wraith can really punish you, and it's not even cross spawn, so the sky is the limit here for MadiNho.
Yeah, and MadiNho does have pretty sick micro too, so that's kind of the thing to it. When I say I haven't seen this work very often, it's typically because I'm watching my level of 2-port Wraith, right? So
I like this mind game from cRoSs though. He's making it look like he hasn't already sent out a drone to take a 3rd base, and he's making it look, oh no, look, I can't get out to expand because of your vulture, but really he's already taken that hatchery on location at his natural 3rd. So I do like that little bit of mind game from cRoSs, but he's going to find out the bad news soon that there's 2 Wraiths already going to be running into his mineral line.
Yeah, this is pretty annoying. At least he's not going to get supply blocked before his fire.
Oh, Burrow! He got Burrow to hedge his bets. I'm liking this, Arzi. I'm liking this a lot. He hedged his bets. He said, okay, I'm not going to get the Hydra Den, but I am going to get the Burrow just in case. And it does pay off. The only problem with Burrow is it's such a long animation. And if, unfortunately, they can still kill some of these drones, you have to Burrow ahead of time, usually.
Yeah. This is really nice from cRoSs. I like this. We're going to take kind of minimal drone damage, and our Scourge/Muta will be popping here soon. I imagine we kind of want Muta against this, right? Because they're just not as microable for the Wraith.
Well, I mean, yeah. The mutas are basically wraiths with one less range, and they have health regeneration. And obviously, there's no health regeneration on these wraiths. So in small numbers, the mutas usually can do a good job. But actually, does manage to kill one of those wraiths and lose a mutalisk for his time. But he's trying to stop a window where there's going to be cloak and a significant amount of wraiths to just come in and start bullying him, kill all the overlords, and start one-shotting drones. He's trying to, slow down that window and see if he can kind of stabilize himself. He didn't lose too much initially to those wraiths right off the bat with that burrow upgrade coming in clutch. So I mean, this isn't too bad for a game position for cRoSs going forward. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have been much worse, right? He could have been down several more drones. So
yeah,
the burrow definitely paying off pretty well. Yeah, MadiNho was making a lot of Marines at home the whole time, so he had enough to kind of bait the mutas in for a little bit of a fight. So he did get some extra damage, even pick off a muta or two there. So that's kind of nice for him, but it does mean an expansion is nowhere on the horizon for MadiNho.
Right. And he's got the overlord speed already finished up. So, I mean, honestly, this is looking pretty good for cRoSs. And he's making a safety sunken over at that third base location as well, just so he can mine that without worrying too much about one or two vultures ruining his day. I mean, this is looking better and better for cRoSs the longer this goes on. He's even going to be intercepting this vulture and denying any damage. I mean, this is really well played. He's navigated this early game almost perfectly, especially considering he didn't even try and get a Hydra Den or Hydras early on. And he's going to be forcing a bio transition out of MadiNho here to try and get some better cost efficiency going into the mid game, but no expansion in sight.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, yeah, MadiNho, there is no mid-game plans for MadiNho. We're on 2, 4, 3 barracks, 1 base right now. We're going to be hedging on this kind of 1 base push here, which is kind of good for him anyway, because we have this burrowed ling in our natural, and clearing that is super annoying to begin with, so...
Right.
I mean, we're just so far behind on eco, right? Kind of like you mentioned earlier, cRoSs making MadiNho think it denied this third... and just getting this third base eco up and running. His economy is way too far ahead for MadiNho to ever play macro from here.
Yeah, I mean, the only mistake that cRoSs could make is if he doesn't produce enough units from this point onwards. But he scouted with the Scourge. He saw the timing of that barracks and knows there's no CC potentially on the way. So he knows that MadiNho is going to be pretty, at least semi all in from this point onwards and try and do some significant damage in conjunction with his bio, with his wraiths to get the job done with the air support. But I mean, honestly, like, MadiNho will need really fancy micro to make this work. As long as cRoSs hits all of his beats, he should be able to smack this down.
This is totally a BGH build, by the way, to go Wraith Marine. Like, this is something I would do in my 3v3 games. So kind of fun to see MadiNho whipping it out here for his 1v1.
I mean, you do rely heavily on micro in BGH, right? BGH is like the evil stepbrother of fastest. It's like all about those finesse early game plays and utilizing micro to get one up on your opponent, especially with positional advantage on that weird map geometry. But in this case, though, MadiNho is a 2v2 player. He's got a lot of micro potential. He's happy to control on 2 fronts if need be as well. Like, this guy has definitely got the skill set necessary to make something like this work.
And cRoSs has definitely made a point not to overmake drones. He's kind of staying on the bare minimum drones and started pumping Hydra relatively early. We even already got lurkers out. I mean, this is going to be so hard for MadiNho to get anything done.
He's got 1 scanner. Yeah, it's rough. Like, he's going to have 2 scans max to make this work, and that might not be enough. Although the third base, a little bit undefended. Only a few more additional lurkers about to pop out as the timing's hitting. I mean, maybe he can make this work, but he needs to be super confident about his execution. The natural definitely can't be breached, but cRoSs going to be doing a bit of a lurker contain now and preventing any reinforcements from getting out onto the map. So what you see is what you get. Even finds a connection on the Scourge on that dropship. Does do a scan now. Tries to break through into this third base. 2 lurkers going down very quick. There's the second scan. He's got pretty much no more scan, though, to make this work. He can't really commit to killing the natural. He has to just get compensation by shutting down this third base and then trying to win in the air with that Wraith on Newton's battle. Look at that run, but there's a dropship coming into the natural measure. He connected with the Scourge, but didn't finish it off, and now he's paying the price. Those mutas should have chased down that dropship after the Scourge connection if he thought he couldn't hold his third. He's kind of hooing and harring and will both give up his third base and take some drone damage as natural as a result.
Just gotta be careful not to bleed these Mutas off too with the Marines there, because if he loses too many Mutas, these Wraith can actually dominate the game despite the Lurkers.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like 9 Mutas right now. That's not a lot. Wraiths can really bully them with their superior range of the Gemini missiles. Already taken down to a count of 6, and he might even have Cloak following this up. I'm not quite sure if he's actually got that upgrade. He might not be relying on it, though, just trying to target fire down these Mutas right now. It's 5 versus 5. Mutas technically have the advantage. Depends on the target firing. They are going to be taking the victory, though. There's no more air support, and he did try to run by into the main base with those Lurkers, but was forced out.
I love that, by the way. It's you're one base all-inning me, so I'm gonna counterattack you. Like,
it's so aggressive.
It is. It's extremely aggressive. But yeah, we've got all these Lurkers out now. I mean, we have no scans hardly at this point. Maybe like 1 scan ready. Did he have a vessel? Did I see that correctly? Or
yeah, no, I don't think so. He can't afford that. He's gonna.
I was gonna say. I was about to be mind blown that he snuck a vessel out during this. So.
Yeah, he would have to be a pro gamer to afford everything like that. It's kind of insane. Does manage maybe lose his dropship before he can do a full unload. It's a bit unfortunate. Does get maybe 2 drone kills in the natural. That's not too bad. Does kill a little bit of the economy of cRoSs here, and he did lose that 3rd base after all. So I mean, technically this is a playable game, and he will be taking this natural to float down. And if cRoSs really tries to focus on killing MadiNho from this 2-base position, as long as MadiNho just doesn't die, then we might have a real game on our hands. The problem is how do we take our natural? And the answer is probably tanks with siege mode.
Yeah, he's getting tanks. He's getting vessels out relatively soon. He's got a pretty good meta count with these Marines, so he's going to try and slow take his natural, but there's a lot of Lurkers down here, and yeah, cRoSs is going to start leapfrogging these Lurkers forward, and we still don't have that tank yet, so this is going to be pretty tough for MadiNho.
Oh yeah, this is probably about an 80% chance for cRoSs to finish this game off right here, right now, and a higher percentage if you include the entire game. This is really rough. It's going to be so hard for MadiNho to hold it. Technically, it's possible. It's just pretty unlikely.
Yeah, it's a ton of units. It's going to be a nice Stim 4 to get a little bit of damage on the Lurker and kind of push it back. Siege mode is done. There's just a lot of units here, and I'm worried about that tank getting picked off, but cRoSs is going to be able to fall back and just kind of hold the outside a little bit. And we still don't see that 3rd hatchery, though. I am actually getting a little bit nervous for cRoSs.
Yeah, I mean, he's about to take the 3rd. He's just rushing high first. This is not a bad idea from cRoSs. Prioritizing tech to make sure the Defiler mount isn't too lagging behind. Does kind of put a clock on MadiNho to not only take his natural expansion, but start to go on the offensive again. And Hydra Lurk will certainly trade better if you're the one that's attacking as Terran. So yeah, cRoSs trying to force MadiNho out from his hidey hole. We'll have to wait and see how successful that will end up being once MadiNho wants to be aggressive once again. He'll probably want to wait for at least a few more tanks to do so. 3 tanks and a few bio units won't be quite enough to do anything but slowly leap forward.
Yeah, it might be doing a full mech transition. We saw him go to 3 factories there, so I don't know how much bio he's actually pumping at this point.
Oh, it depends. It could be a mech transition. Yeah, okay, it is a mech transition. I was gonna say if it's only 3 tanks, then it could be bio mech. But if it's 4 factories, it's definitely a mech transition.
Which can be pretty decent. I mean, if we start getting like mines and stuff out too, right, against this Hydra Lurker style, this is completely playable. I can't believe this happens with these players, where it's like we went 1 base, 2 port, 3 barracks into a macro game where we're getting like high tech and a mech transition.
You get some crazy games of StarCraft here, and I'm all about it. I'm enjoying this and trying to flank on the right hand side with the Hydras, waiting to catch these tanks. D-Matrix comes out, beautifully done by MadiNho. Some mines laid in the wake of those Lurkers as well. And don't find connections though. Beautiful snipes with the Acid Spirants on those Hydras, killing those tanks. Now forcing the issue. The bio is being eviscerated by those subterranean spines, and looks like cRoSs might be able to close the deal. There's a few mines here, but I don't think there's going to be enough left in the tank for MadiNho to hold the line, and GG is called, and we are going to be tying up this series.
GG. All right, I was wondering if we were going to get a long game or not here, but cRoSs pounces on that, takes a really, really good fight, kind of punishes MadiNho for coming out maybe a little bit too early, right? Because I think he felt a little bit of pressure. He wanted to get out further and further before defilers are hitting the field, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. That was the great play from cRoSs to put him on a clock. Because as soon as he scans and sees the hive, it's like, oh damn, now I have to attack. I can't just sit back and macro up anymore.
Yeah, exactly. This is something I talk about quite often with people too. When I talk about putting pressure on your opponents, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're attacking or running units and run, right? Sometimes dropping expansions or even dropping tech and that kind of thing, it puts pressure on your opponent, forces them to do something in response.
Right. Yeah, sometimes the best damage is done indirectly, and especially in StarCraft, it's really well done by these players to figure out those tiny little win conditions. I mean, cRoSs had such a big win percentage of just, ramming it down up the ramp, but he thought to himself, hang on a minute, it's technically not 100% guaranteed result. So I'm much smarter to pull back, get a hive, force you to come to me and guarantee the win. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, great play from cRoSs, and you heard it from me, right? I was worried that he wasn't taking a third, but who knew that cRoSs can play Zerg better than me?
Yeah, he's a pretty good cerebral Zerg. You should trust his judgment. He's usually got usually pretty sound judgment when it comes to those kinds of decisions, that's for sure. But I think both players are ready, so we're jumping into our next game number 3 on Metropolis. Spawning here in the top left is the blue Terran. It's MadiNho.
In cross spawn here on Metropolis, we have our red Zerg cRoSs.
He's such an adept Zerg, man. He's one of these Zergs that is very well suited in dealing with someone like MadiNho. Like, if you're like a linear Zerg like me, where you can only really play like a few different styles, someone like MadiNho is a nightmare because he can do such a wide range of finesse and variations to throw a wrench your way. cRoSs, though, he's got such a bag of tricks and understanding of lots of different variations and all kinds of behavior trees to navigate, and he's very well suited in taking on someone like this crazy Norwegian Viking.
Well, that's why I was excited about this game pretty much more than any other game, because MadiNho and cRoSs are both like total wild cards in how they can play sometimes. So you're guaranteed to get fireworks when these two clash. And we've seen it so far. We got a 4-pull into a 2-port Wraith, and now we're center 8 racks.
Yeah, I mean, this is fairly committed as well. Like, it's much harder to float this 8 racks back against an early pull build. And cRoSs readjusting himself in his chair, taking a deep breath, trying to calm himself down, maybe feeling some nerves. He knows he's against a very adequate opponent, someone who can go toe-to-toe with him. We see there the 2 cameras and MadiNho rocking that caster shirt. I've got that shirt as well. It's very cool. And I wonder, man, like, is this going to go to game 5? I mean, certainly these 2 guys should go to game 5. They are almost evenly matched in terms of their prowess and their understanding of the game. A very quick gas coming from MadiNho as well to get a factory behind this 8 racks and really keep the pressure alive from the start to finish.
Yeah, this is bordering all in. So we do 8 racks, 10 gas. So this could be a 1-1-1 as well, but this is very, very aggressive. So we're going to get a very fast vulture out behind this pressure, and it's going to put a lot on cRoSs, and it's going to make his muted timing kind of terrible. It's very hard to defend all this and get proper timings on your tech.
Yeah, cRoSs trying to get an optimized lair timing by making his gas and pull at the same time. You do it just when you have like barely, not quite 250 minerals, and you're hoping that by the time the drone's finished this animation of getting into the center of the geyser, you've got that 250 mineral mark to actually get both simultaneously. Shaves off a second or 2 of that tech timing, but he's not really going to get there so quickly in this game. He's got a lot of marine pressure coming his way, and he did not cross-map scout with his drone, although he did get this quick scout with the drone into the main base of MadiNho. Can see that there's not many SCVs mining minerals, sees this factory, no barracks in sight. He should be able to sniff this out and have a fairly adequate response to this.
Yeah, we're going to see all those drones come off the line. And so typically when you're doing this, you're looking for about 3 drone kills, right? And you're happy as Terran. A little bit different because we're going for this 10 gas, so we're mounting more aggression behind this. It means that cRoSs is going to have to make that sunken after this as well, so his economy is going to be pretty bad. 2 drones going down already, 3rd drone going to go down, and we might even get a 4th here.
Oh, he doesn't quite target it. He's going to try instead just run by to the bunker. He knows there's no quick sunken in response to this. Oh, he gets lucky. He gets so lucky with the random targeting and gets the drone anyway. That's seriously lucky from MadiNho. A little bit of a dice roll, but oh my gosh, this is a nightmare. This is like watching July Zerg versus like Nada or something back in the day, although he hasn't got the craziness of July Zerg to do a run by with drones or something like that. Just going to be tapping out and a quick win for our Norwegian Terran, establishing dominance yet again with some shenanigans in this series going forward.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal loss for cRoSs now. We got a 4-pull loss into 2-port Wraith, and now an ARAX just ended the game outright. That's kind of painful for cRoSs to lose like that.
It's crazy. And what's so weird, RZ, is that there's no real easy answer to a player like MadiNho. He's that guy that can pretty much do anything, so you're kind of scared of everything as Zerg.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about before, right? It's like cRoSs, it's so hard to prepare for someone like MadiNho. You have to be scouting for everything, prepare for everything, and you still got to be able to respond relatively correctly, or you could just die anyway.
I'm kind of surprising we're not seeing any like 9 scouts from cRoSs. Like, I mean, it certainly is a viable strategy against someone of MadiNho's caliber, especially cross map to hard counter an 8 racks with a very early drone scout. Not only do you scout the 8 racks, but you can stop the SEV building the 8 racks and hard counter them. So if he is suspicious of something, you know, it is what it is. MadiNho says it's very BM to never let him be on the home team. Something to consider, Zero. He's such a funny guy. I really like MadiNho. He's a chill guy, man. I really want to hang with him sometime. I think both players are ready, though, so we're jumping into our 4th game on Radian. Let's get it. Spawning here in the top right, a very funny guy. It's MadiNho, currently enjoying a 2-1 lead.
And his opponent down 1-2 right now. We have cRoSs spawning as the red Zerg.
So what do you think, RZ? Are we seeing game number 5 here, or is MadiNho going to go drunken boxer style and completely eliminate cRoSs here, 3-1?
It's so hard to predict these games. You just don't know what's going to happen between these two players. I love it too, by the way, that cRoSs shows them a 4-pull in game 1, and MadiNho's like, yeah, I'm going to ARAX anyway. Like, he's not afraid.
Yeah, balls of steel, this guy. I really do enjoy MadiNho in terms of his gameplay and personality in general. Just an all-round great guy, and what a pleasure to have him in the scene. I hope he's not retiring. I hope he's trolling us. He better not be retiring.
Yeah, I didn't even know he had said that. You told me, my heart kind of sank a little bit. I'm such a MadiNho fan, and even more so this BSL, like watching him play. I never really watched him play a whole lot before it. So yeah, he's making me a big fan. I really hope he doesn't retire, especially since he's doing so well right now. And it's nice to see somebody make it this far, and he's just here having fun.
Yeah,
to be this good at the game and be having so much fun is so rare for StarCraft players.
It really is, because it's usually only the ultra competitive guys that make it through to those higher echelons of play. MadiNho is kind of like this exception to the rule, where he's just a happy-go-lucky guy that always seems to find success, and that's very unusual in StarCraft.
I love his name too, by the way. I was going to mention this earlier and forgot about it. We got cRoSs play on Vile Potato, and MadiNho made a name specifically for cRoSs with the name Mad Potato.
Yeah. He's even got the Potato King hat on right now. A little bit of self-deprecating humor. He definitely would fit in well with the British. Taking another swig of his drink. He's getting low, though. Hopefully he's keeping those alcohol-blood ratios to an optimal level going into this 4th game.
Yeah, I'm worried he might go for something quick again here, because if he runs out before the game is over, there's no way he's going to have enough fuel to keep going.
It's true, although there is also the possibility that he drinks a little bit too much, gets a little bit too tipsy. That's also not good. You kind of need to find that sweet spot, right, where your nerves are gone, you no longer care about the future, and you're just in the moment playing some great StarCraft. And he is one of the best in the business at handling his booze and playing some great games while doing so.
So yeah, we're gonna see that factory opening for MadiNho. Not super surprising. He's kind of known to be a mech player. Does he do much 1-1-1, or does he play kind of standard mech?
He usually plays standard mech, honestly, but I mean, he's such a talented Terran. I'm sure he can play both. It's just maybe he favors the 1/1 Goliath build a little bit more often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to me that he doesn't play 1/1 because 1/1 is very kind of micro oriented. I guess it's pretty build execution as well, but
yes,
it's pretty tight. It's a pretty tight build.
Well, it's very flimsy, right? Like it's very susceptible to something like a 2-hatch all-in laying or something. That's why players like Flash ended up not going for this build as a standard. Once upon a time, Flash was doing this pretty much every single game, but he realized, hang on a minute, I can't really achieve much more than a 70% win rate with this. So let's do something else. It's not good enough for Flash, 70% win rate, apparently.
Yeah, that's terrible. Why even? You're just wasting time.
Are you even trying?
So MadiNho going to come out with these Marines kind of early just to be fanning them out and maybe looking for some Lings or Overlords, something like that, trying to get in a position. He's got the Vulture behind this, so he feels pretty safe against a lot of Lings.
Yeah. He forces a Sunken out for just a standard naked Marine move out timing. It's very common in the meta now to threaten the idea that these Marines are going to come in and kill some of these drones in the natural. You can either, get like 4 Lings of speed or go for a very fast Sunken. Especially knowing the range of play of MadiNho, the Sunken is the superior option, probably, just knowing how much he likes to go for teched out plays.
Yeah, and he did a really good job there with the Marine positioning. He catches the Ling on the right side with the Vulture, so this makes cRoSs think, the Vulture's out of position, I can scan on the left side, but the Marines were actually up there on the left side and intercepted that Ling as well, so cRoSs not able to get any more information than he wanted.
Yeah, cRoSs's actually making a second Sunken here. Like, he's worried about a potential bio timing, even though there's none coming. MadiNho sold him kind of like a false bill here, and the red herring has kind of worked, and he's squeezing out more economy out of the engine of cRoSs for the idea of some early pressure. He's gotten inside the head a little bit of cRoSs and forced him to hedge his bets, and that will really help out MadiNho going forward, that he's forcing out this much of a response out of cRoSs from just opening up a standard factory timing here.
Yeah, somebody might have to explain that one to me. He saw the Vulture, so I actually don't understand what the second Sunken's for. He didn't get the information on the naturally, so he's just being extra safe.
He didn't get the confirmation on the Vulture, and he was assuming a potential mind game from MadiNho, where it's like a fake mech or something, and there actually is a bio timing behind the Vulture. And to be honest with you, it wouldn't be out of the possibility of MadiNho's range of play. Like, if you're dealing with an aggressive Terran like this, you don't want to leave anything up to chance. So I can kind of respect cRoSs, happy to take a small economic deficit just to guarantee no easy losses here. He would be eliminated from the tournament, let's not forget, if something like that occurred.
Yeah, this is definitely this is just kind of the MadiNho effect, and the way the series has been going. He's playing a little bit, we'll say safe, not scared, right? He just wants to get into a game where he's not behind, not dead, and he can kind of work his magic with his mutas.
That's exactly right. Yeah, he knows he's a capable player. He just needs to survive and get into a playable game state in that mid game, and anything is possible for him. Already shutting down one of these Vultures will allow him to take a fairly early third base if he so desires. That drone scout should be making its way, and it is. There is a second Vulture, actually. Oh, no. Tell me he's not going to try and take the 6 o'clock. That's going to get shut down by a second Vulture. That's insane. Wow.
Yeah, this is so annoying for cRoSs, and this... This makes sense, too, because, I mean, that would be the third that he'd want to take. He doesn't want to expand towards the Terran against a mech build, right? So
hang on, there's actually a chance that they get on top of these Goliaths. There's no turret support. With good target firing, he can technically kill these Goliaths. I mean, there's no repair on these Goliaths, so eventually he will win the battle. He has to eventually pull out after sniping this Goliath, though. But technically, he won that battle. I mean, it's not the worst case scenario there for cRoSs. He did get the drone denied, but he did punish the fact that there was a little bit of greed from MadiNho not making a safety turret early or even trying to repair those Goliaths. So I would say like a bit of compensation after not getting that base up.
Well, I think he could have won the game there. There actually is a turret underneath that Eve that was shooting the whole time. I don't know if he noticed that or not, but there was actually a turret putting in work that entire time under there.
I mean, I didn't even notice it. There was.
Yeah, it was so well hidden. I didn't notice it till like towards the end of the fight. I was like, wait, there's something else shooting those mutas.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean, that's definitely... Oh, look at the dive in on the bunker, though. The Lynx aren't quite going to kill it. There's not quite enough damage from the Mutalisk to support that. He will be cleaning this up. Unfortunately for cRoSs, that's a big nightmare. Committing that many Zerglings to actually no payoff. Now the natural expansion isn't exposed like he wanted it to for a further Mutaling stab, and forcing these Goliaths into a precarious situation of having to come down the ramp and then getting surrounded by Zerglings. But with that bunker there, they can stay in the main base for the majority of the time.
Well, this snowballed suddenly so bad for cRoSs because our third got denied and we never put it back down. We made a bunch of units and went for this bust instead. So if you think about it, this vulture killing this one drone has completely disrupted cRoSs. It's pretty insane how much damage it's done.
Honestly, yeah, like unironically, it's been such a big problem now. Like, it's completely thrown off the ebb and flow of the game that we could have had, just because he didn't want to expand towards the Terran by taking his natural third, and MadiNho kind of knew that. Look at this, like getting some SEV snipes. It's not too bad, like 4 or so SEVs there, but does lose some Mutalisks to those long bolt missiles. So even though there's no Goliaths to shoot at those Mutalisks, still getting some compensation for the SEV losses. Everything is aligning for MadiNho right now. cRoSs desperate to get more and more economic damage done. 6 SEVs total have gone down, but +1 weapons has finished. MadiNho can push out, or at least pressure the idea of a push out with these Goliaths and force a reaction out of cRoSs here. There are 2 Sunkens back at home, so cRoSs might be feeling too much pressure just yet. He might be feeling pretty safe and can continue this onslaught and sniping SEVs.
Yeah, he killed a lot of SCVs here. MadiNho's supply was looking really, really good, but he's just bleeding off so many SCVs. The control from cRoSs here looking pretty strong, getting a lot of those picks. Does have that hatchery going bottom left now, but there might be a little bit of a clash here in the middle.
Oh, that's really bad for cRoSs. There's so much current boosted missiles coming his way. Those Hellfire missiles wrecking face. And I mean, he's going to technically live. He's got 3 Sunkens in his natural. The problem is that MadiNho is not caring about the natural. He's wanting to find this third base. He might think it's at the 6 o'clock, but he is going to find it with the vultures and confirm where he needs to attack. Even gets the kill on the lava and egg. Look at this absolute mad lad. If I'm cRoSs, I'm so frustrated. I can't even explain to you how annoyed I would be.
Yeah, that's a tilter right there. It's not like that big of a deal necessarily, but I mean, that was probably a drone, right? We want the drone to maybe get some Sunkens up or something like that. So getting that denied is super annoying.
Yeah.
It's such a... I love the, like, small attention to detail that MadiNho is always paying.
Well, fragmentation grenades are great for taking out lava, and he certainly did want a drone to put a Sunken down there for safety. Without any Sunkens down in that bottom left pocket, these Goliaths can absolutely annihilate these Mutalisks that are going to try and intercept the spot. He's trying to catch a few of the reinforcing Goliaths, but the main battle force of MadiNho is going to get the kill on that hatchery. cRoSs has to sacrifice it and find some compensation elsewhere and try and make do with the fact that there's a lack of mobility in those Goliaths down in the bottom left quadrant, and try and do some counter damage instead.
Yeah, he's going to be making more Sunkens at home after losing this hatchery, but I think, like you said, MadiNho doesn't even care if he keeps this natural, right? He's so happy to be MadiNho third. He can start building up his own tech, continue growing his army. We see him taking a bigger and bigger supply lead. Going to clean up these 2 turrets so he can send more SCVs, but these Goliath going to try and wedge their way in there potentially to protect these a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a misplay from MadiNho to not have like a better Goliath coverage here in the natural. I feel like these 2 turrets on the bottom are really affecting him because he can't get Goliaths behind that mineral line, especially with the bunker there too. It's so difficult to get Goliaths back there to defend, but you know, 2 or 3 Goliaths on hold position where the gas is would have been a better play in dealing with this, I think.
Yeah, this bunker's in the way and nothing else, right? It would have been nice if he could remove this bunker so his Goliath could get snug in there a little bit more. He's got these Goliath going top left. There was a hatchery that was building. cRoSs is gonna go ahead and cancel that. And MadiNho scouts this other one. Oh, he's gonna rebuild it and lose this.
That's so annoying. He literally just made it as well that second. Kind of crazy. Does he even cancel it?
Oh no.
Doesn't even cancel it. I mean, that's so frustrating. I mean, don't get me wrong, cRoSs is a pretty chill guy. Like, he's not gonna like have a tantrum or anything, but I promise you he's super annoyed right now. And like, he's got 1/1 upgrades on these Mutalisks. We went for an earlier power spike, but the longer this game goes on, the more that he will be outscaled by these Goliaths. But has a tiny window here where it technically can trade pretty good with the Goliaths. They're out of position in the top left. Maybe cRoSs can get on top of these few Goliaths here in the main production line of MadiNho and put some pressure on and maybe rotate around to killing SCVs after killing these.
Yeah, MadiNho's playing very, very light on turrets. These counterattacks have some potential to find some damage done. But is going to get chased off by these Goliath. Maybe. It's still a pretty big meter block, though.
I'm seeing some jitters from the muter control here from cRoSs. I don't know if MadiNho's just got under his skin or cRoSs's just having some issues in general, but the muters are not moving around with such confidence as they once were, and now they're kind of boxed in. Like, he's ready to intercept the exit vector of these. He's going to go in the middle. That's a good call from cRoSs, but there's still Goliaths waiting for him. Oh my gosh, that's so much Hellfire missiles raining down, and cRoSs kind of a bit of a lip quiver there, going off to the side. Like, I mean, I don't know what you'd call it, like not a smirk, but like a kind of expression, knowing how much trouble he's in right now. And now the third base. This is crazy. The third base is going down as well. He's got Sonkens on the way, but they're not quite in time. I mean, this is such a good game from MadiNho, and cRoSs with respect there, saying GG, well played. Look at him with the bow and arrow into the heart of our Zerg, destroying his hopes of a tournament run. We are going to be having a MadiNho versus dewalt showdown coming up in the future. I'm super excited for that matchup. Craziness could occur.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited now. Like I said earlier, man, MadiNho's made me such a fan. He plays so crazy, dude. He'll do anything. I love his creativity. I love his multitasking. I just love the way he thinks about StarCraft. And he finished that game just in time. He had one little swig left of his drink there. And yeah, if this game took maybe even 5 minutes longer, he had no chance, I think.
Yeah, he had the optimal blood alcohol levels, and any more would have sent him over the edge. Now he can drink in comfort. There we go. There's the little refill there. Load up the Pepsi again for the mixer. Ready to keep drinking and enjoying his evening in a well-deserved showdown against cRoSs, who is now eliminated from the tournament. What a crazy sequence of events we've had already tonight, and it's still with more to come. We've got that winners bracket final match coming up with Hawk and Bonif. But I don't know about you, but I think we should take a little bit of a break here, Arzi, before we go forward.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, I wanted to point this out. MadiNho said, I love MadiNho. He said, joke's on me, now I have to play tomorrow as well. So he wins the series and pretends to complain.
He says good luck, Hawk, as well. Maybe hoping that Hawk performs well against Bonif, or just wondering if he even has a chance against someone like Bonif, and he's going to need every luck necessary to win that best of 5 series. But don't go anywhere, guys. Run to the bathroom, grab some brewskis, grab some food out of the fridge, whatever you got to do. Popcorn may be necessary for this crazy best of 5 finals we've got coming.